Welcome to the Bay State Golf Podcast. I'm Sean Melia. Today we have a guest. It is Mike Bird, the Assistant Superintendent at Green Harbor Golf Course in Marshfield, Massachusetts. We talk about how he got into growing turf, his journey from a PGM program into grass growing and taking care of a golf course. We talk about local golf in the South Shore area. And as always, he gives us his 5 courses that he would play if he could never play golf in Massachusetts again. Great conversation with Mike just about golf, growing the game, and everything else that we both love about the game of golf. Please subscribe to this wherever you're listening. If you want to watch it on YouTube, it's over there as well. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please hit subscribe so you know when the latest podcasts drop on whatever platform you listen to them. And one last plug, if you head to baystategolf.beehive.com, that's BEEHIIV.com, you can subscribe to my newsletter. It is free every Friday. If you're looking for just a collection of all of my stuff in one place, whether it's my Instagram, my YouTube stuff, my writing, every Friday I kind of collect that and also share some news and notes about Bay State Golf and what's going on in Massachusetts around golf courses, golf competitions, and then I also throw in just some of my weekly favorites of stuff going on off the golf course, whether it's something I read, something I ate, something I drank, something I watched. I like to share just those little nuggets as well. So you can subscribe again at baystategolf.beehive.com. Let's get to my discussion with Mike Bird. You are the assistant super at Green Harbor in Marshfield, the place I played a few years ago on my quest, and I started following you on Instagram. And you got a big hoodie on right now. It is January 15th. It's cold. It's windy out. What is a winter like for you and for like supers out there? I think a lot of people think you guys just like go into a box and plug in until April rolls around. But like, what's a winter like?
It depends on where you're at. Some guys have the luxury of throwing the green covers on and they come back around March or April, Green Harbor, we try to stay year round for, the crazy guys who want to play in 30-degree January winds. But anyway, so no, from myself, you try to delegate the projects to, all right, what can we make a difference for come spring? All the grass, scientific stuff, sunshade, all that aside. Aesthetically, you want to do some, we're doing a lot of tree work. A lot of it's primarily for sun in different areas, but most of it's aesthetics. Just, you got too many trees, which we have a lot of trees at Green Harbor.
Yeah. We're
under the process of, you could say we're under like a minor renovation or restoration of some sort. We're just doing a lot of work out there. A lot of good things, opening up new areas to develop new tee complexes, develop some more sun on like just green areas that have been some struggling green complexes for us. So to answer your question, a lot of tree work, trying to stay, just a lot of like cleanup work. Right now we're kind of a different animal than, well-established course. We're looking to have a new maintenance barn built soon. Things like that. We're kind of on the on and up for Green Harbor. We just got a new fleet of equipment. Like I said, we're about to do our maintenance facility over and things like that. So we're very busy. Some guys, like I said, they might have the green jackets on the greens, the covers on, and, they get to go on vacation.
Well, Kit, you touched around it a little bit, but Green Harbor, just how would you describe it as a golf course and then as a facility? Because even when I was there 3 years ago, and I follow it on Instagram, and it's kind of an interesting place just as far as the work that you guys are doing to just bring a bunch of different kinds of people into the game.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm fortunate enough to be born and raised from Marshfield. I grew up right down the street from the course. So Green Harbor's just a great spot. Family-owned golf course. The Francis family has owned it for many years now. My boss, Manny, who's the current superintendent, great guy, great people to work for. So we've recently built the driving range. I don't know if have you seen that in person yet? Or?
I have. I was there I think that was the spring I was there was when they were just getting it going. So that might have been like 21, maybe 20, I think 21.
They built the range right before I came aboard. I've been the assistant superintendent now for about 2 years now. So the range is about 3.5 years old.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And so that's really kind of been like the kick the kickstart to like revamp of the whole club, because it's steady year-round revenue. Obviously, that's the big thing. You got to be open for business.
Yep.
Now we got the course that is open for play, weather permitting. Right now, unfortunately, we're closed, but you got the range, the restaurant. Chef Steve does a wonderful job. That's kind of been the whole, got the ball rolling for all of this, and obviously that delegates capital funds towards the rest of the property, which is kind of the only reason I'm there, is that range restaurant thing. So just getting a good club atmosphere going with the big change at Green Harbor in the past 5 years or so. The range and restaurant are really up and running now. Obviously, we got some kinks to work out, but we'll
Who
get.
doesn't?
We're just trying to do what we can throughout the winter months. But yeah, to answer your main question, we got the restaurant and range up and going, kind of well established now. They have like a following and a grasp around the community, which is nice. And there's a Tuesday night trivia, and we got a loyalty base behind us. Not that we didn't have before, but now there's more of a club atmosphere with those two amenities besides the course.
Yeah, the range is different because you got, what is it, like 10 bays or 15 bays? It's top tracer.
Yeah,
it's heated.
16 bays. They all got top tracer. They all have the independent screens. You can play the games, and you can do the specs for like your swing speed and ball speed and all that. Obviously yardage and everything. Each bay is individually. We have heaters and all that, and the waitresses come out to table.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know that there's a lot of people who go to indoor places. It is nice, even in the winter, just to see your ball fly through the air every now and then. That's a pretty great perk.
Add to it, with the obviously food and drink, and servers table to table and stuff. But we tried to keep a happy medium of, you're still coming to a golf course. You're not coming to like an arcade or a Top Golf. Like I said, you're coming to Green Harbor Golf Course that has Winslow's kitchen, bar, and range, and it has top tracer technology. We also have the power tee system, which is kind of nice for the elderly folks who easy. You don't tee the ball up, so that's kind of
So as far as what line gets drawn for staying open in the winter versus deciding to close? Was it the snow last weekend that we had? Is it just the cold and ice accumulating on the golf course? Is it
right now we got heavily shaded areas on a couple pockets in certain holes that just primarily the rest of the course is somewhat melted and playable right now, but there's certain areas with, just like you said, ice and just kind of that snowy ice buildup, which last thing you need is people slipping or whatever going on out there. And so yeah, to answer your question, it's a fine line with how many people they have trying to play. I'm speaking for where I'm at. Like, if there's a decent tee sheet for the day, like, hey, not everything's quite melted. There's going to be minor pockets out there. Business is business where it's playable. If there's anything on the green standing, it's just you can't play.
Right.
Try to putt over a bump of ice. It's not going to.
Right.
But so you're looking. It's safety, where you're teeing off from, in the greens. Those are like the things. If those are like playable and clear, let's go. Green light.
Let's go.
Yep.
So if it gets to 40 right now, it's like I said, it's January 15th. If it gets to is 45 degrees kind of a sweet spot? Is 50 degrees if you're looking at how to hit?
50, I would have guys out there in shorts.
Yeah. And you'd be, but that's that would be right now. If you look at the forecast and you see like a 45, 50 degree day, Green Harbor would be most likely.
Yep.
You could think about it being open.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep. I know you've only been there for 2 years. Have you noticed even just like winter play being more popular from one winter to another? Has Green Harbor just even noticed as a club like an increase in play in the winter, or has it always been kind of a core group that plays in the winter?
So for some time they did not do winter play. They were closed for a little bit. I'm not sure how many years ago that was, or the time span. In my opinion, I think it's kind of it has a following. It really has a following. I got my father's in his late 60s, early 70s. And all his buddies, they play Widow's Walk regularly.
Yep. So they're gluttons for punishment.
Yep. So they shut it, though.
Yeah.
Dog walking park in the town of Scituate. So all of them come to Green Harbor.
Yeah.
There's a winter golf following of people who they are not stopping all year round. They're swinging the club. I think it's kind of gone up. To be honest with you, because we've had less snow recently.
That's true.
Yeah, so it gives you the availability to swing the club possibly. So I don't know if that's it, or if it's just, hey, people just like their golf,
Yeah, and if they're gonna go for a walk, they might as well just throw a bag with a few clubs and over their back and see their buddies and do it that way. Let's talk about you a little bit. How did you grew up down the street from Green Harbor? You said before we recorded, you played golf in high school. So how did you get into the game of golf? And then how did you find yourself almost back home? Everyone comes home, as they say, back working at Green Harbor. How's that loop?
I'm not going to give you everywhere I worked and everything like that. So my grandmother got me into the game of golf, as when I was a kid. I would be chipping around in the front yard with the little kid clubs or whatever. Obviously then I got a real set and I started taking lessons. And actually, funny thing how I found out I was a lefty, right? I was at Sandbaggers over in Pembroke, and I forget the gentleman's last name, but his name was Rick. He's no longer there anymore. But I was swinging righty clubs as a kid with a left-handed grip, right?
Yeah.
He tells me, he said, "Hey, kid, switch your hands around," right? And I couldn't hit, because I switched my hands to righty, and he went inside and got me lefty clubs. And that's how I found out I was a lefty.
Amazing.
But anyway, my grandmother got me into golf, bringing me to, man, this is late 90s, early 2000s. I don't know if you know Pembroke at all, the town of Pembroke.
A little bit.
So
yeah.
There's an ice rink in Pembroke that used to have a driving range right behind the ice rink, Hobbenlock.
Okay.
And I used to go there and Sandbaggers all the time and hitting balls. And long story short, Green Harbor at the time had youth clinics with them in Rockland Golf Course. They would have kind of youth chipping lessons and stuff. So I ended up starting to go to youth lessons at Green Harbor as a kid. And that's how I got into the game. And then obviously went to Marshfield High, played high school golf, stuff like that. Ended up graduating Marshfield High in 2010 and ended up going down to South Carolina for college. Went to Coastal Carolina at first. Was going to do PGM, the professional golf management. And I did my fair share of partying and stuff like that in college. Let's get that out of the way real quick. So I didn't finish PGM or anything like that, but no regrets there. It got me to where I'm at in the industry now, which I loved every minute of my time down south. But so I was doing PGM for not even a whole year, but I ended up coming back after a semester, worked at Harmon, kind of was shadowing lessons and was in the pro shop, re-gripping clubs, doing equipment stuff, washing carts. I'm always talking to Ryan Anderson, superintendent and all that. So when I went back down to school after that summer, I ended up switching majors and ended up doing the turf stuff, and it never looked back since.
So the turf program is, you just switched programs. You stayed at Coastal Carolina.
No, so I got my 2-year degree from a school called Horry Georgetown Technical College.
Got it.
Now they're actually quite one of the bigger 2-year turf programs. They're up there with the Clemsons and the Penn States and stuff like that. It's a smaller school, but it's right in the heart of Myrtle Beach. It's right next to Coastal Carolina's campus. So I ended up getting my 2-year degree from there and got points to transfer on and did Clemson online.
Got it. And so now you're I guess just as far as going from finishing, I think that there's always an interesting story just around what do you get this degree, you're in the golf industry. It's it's not a hard industry to break into, but it is in some respects just you got to find a place, landing spot. So where do you end up landing after you graduate? I think you said White Cliffs before we hopped on. So you kind of come back north.
I'll go further back for you. So White Cliffs was way back when I was a kid. My dad
got it
to pick me up down there. I worked in the bag room under Chappie. And White Cliffs people who follow basic golf, Chappie's a legend at White Cliffs. He ran the bag room for years.
Okay.
Anyway,
Love those guys.
but no, so yeah, I switched majors, dropped out of the PGM stuff, which was cool. Like anyway, the turf guys will call the PGM guys sweater folders, but that's neither here nor there. But no, I came back and my first internship was at Cape Cod National down in Brewster under the previous superintendent Steve Catanelli. So I did a turf internship at CN, housing on site. I was living with other turf intern Max from SUNY Delhi up in New York, and then a kid Dave Bradford from UMass. I think he's still somewhat in the turf industry. Max is in the turf industry at a course in upstate New York somewhere. He's a superintendent. Anyway, it's crazy how everybody just keeps tabs of each other. Like, hey, I did an intern with you or whatever. It's however many years later, you still know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did an internship there, and it's just like in terms of like what you're trying to learn and stuff. It was a good superintendent to go under. Steve was a great guy, and then I don't know if you've played CCN yet, have you?
I've played it a long time. I probably played it close to when it opened because it opened in the early 2000s, right? Yeah. So I had a buddy who joined when it opened, and
it was like an OS type build. You know what I mean? Like they did things right.
Yeah.
Like, that was a very good construction. Rich Heffer is the owner. Brian Silva was the architect. Like the superintendent I worked under, he had a lot to do with the construction. You remember the par 3 14?
No, I don't remember it. It's so long ago.
Yeah. Steve's house was right off the 13th green.
Got it.
But anyway, it was a nice course, a nice intern summer. It was a good summer.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of just like the in terms of like the grass, like what are we spraying? What are we spraying for? Is it grubs? What are we putting down? Is it ABW? Is it a fungicide? Just all that. The chemistry of grass, aeration, top dressing. I mean, throughout the summer as an intern, you're doing a lot of drag and hose. It's a lot of moisture management. All right, what did I probe on the greens? And you data log all your numbers and stuff like that. Moisture management, learning how to grow grass, dealing with a membership like a greens committee, sitting up meetings like that. And that's what you want as an intern. You want them to be able to delegate that time to you. Like you're not just dragging hose all summer. Budget. You're seeing, all right, hey, we had this much on labor this month. We were going to do a capital purchase on this piece of equipment, whatever, just stuff like that. It's not just, you can't just show up to work every day and it's, day-to-day maintenance. That's not how things work. It's just, there's a rhyme or reason to every like agricultural practice. And that's kind of just what you want to learn as an intern.
From like thinking about looking back now, Cape Cod National, working there and now being at Green Harbor, what are the things that are like common threads at a golf course like Cape Cod National, which is, pretty highly regarded, private.
Yep.
And then Green Harbor open year round, winter golf, smaller budget, I'm assuming. Like, what are the threads that kind of still connect to golf courses like that? And you're thinking about just the work that you guys do at Green Harbor and thinking back to the internship, or even just like the supers that you talk to at other golf courses when you might go visit a place that might have a higher budget, might be a private golf course.
Yep. First things first, you can't speed up Mother Nature. Things are going to do what they're going to do. You can't make the grass grow faster, but in terms of like, you can't, that aside.
There's a patience.
At the end of the day, really probably, this is just me saying this, probably 85% of the golfer, all they really care about is tee and green. In between is kind of just like a walk to them or a ride. They care about tee and green. So if those two things are kind of respectable and dialed in, they're going to look past most of the blemishes. And then third thing would be, you can't really do comparisons of courses. Like I know the rankings and all that. It's just everywhere is so different. Like you don't know what their soil is. You don't know what battles they have in terms of like, bad play, conditions of the property, like money, just you don't know. And I know private clubs with unlimited budget. Like I had the pleasure of visiting the renovation at Eastwood Ho last month.
Yeah.
Back down there again to check out some work, and Frank and his team are, watch out for climb the national rankings. Once Kyle France is done with all that work, that place is going to be insane.
Yeah.
But I mean, anyway, not to keep blabbing, but there's just different levels to it. So you
For
can't,
sure.
people would come out to Green Harbor and that would be a dog track. But you go over to, Ponk or
Yeah.
Pacoy Brook or something. It's like everybody has their own battles, I was buddies with the superintendent of Pacroy this past summer. He ended up leaving for better things, and the place went to hell.
In
So
Lakeville?
yeah,
Yeah, in Lakeville, yeah.
I was buddies with Rob Krupe, who ended up parting ways to like leave for something else in the agriculture industry. And it's just things can happen so quick. You can go up quick, and you can go down even quicker. I mean,
yeah.
everybody's lost greens. Everybody will lose a green or greens or grass. Like it's a part of the battles. You live and you learn, and you gotta just do the best for your property and try to meet expectations if you have people who have expectations of your course. I'm hoping you do, because I mean, who would want to show up to a golf course and you have zero expectations for the place? But you got to know where you're going to as well. Like, you can't come to Green Harbor thinking you're going to Great Horse.
Right.
You can't
Yeah.
do that. People, you go to Old Sandwich, you know where you're going. So I think that's kind of too where golf is at. Like I said when we were off record, like I think these people got to realize like how much work it really is to maintain a golf course. Like, these people just don't know, and they're riding around drinking, trashing the place. If they knew half of the work we really do, how early we get up, and I'm cutting cups just so you can try to knock it out of my green, anyway.
But I mean, I always compare it to, I think about restaurants when I think about golf courses, and I kind of tier everything. I don't love rankings either, especially for me. I'm one person. I'm playing a place maybe once and never seeing it again, and maybe playing it in early spring or whatever. But like, there is definitely the feeling of, if I'm going to, Chipotle, I have a different expectation than if I'm going to a steakhouse down the street, or yeah. So they definitely do have that feel. When you go to a golf course and you're visiting a golf course, or you're playing a different golf course, like what superintendent things do you look for, or like what makes you excited to see a new place? When I have a friend who's a super, and we walk around and he's like pointing out these little things that I like I never notice, whether it's straight lines on the tee boxes or just those little things. What for you, when you go to a place, do you eye?
I hate to give you a boring answer and say I don't really eye for anything. I try to see what I notice differently from if I'm just playing Green Harbor. Like, what are they doing differently? That's kind of what I try to look for. Like, what type of method are they doing on the bunkers? Are they spinning all of them, or are they hand raking some? Are they hand raking the green sides and spinning fairways? Like, that stuff I'll see.
So what's the difference between those two things?
I like a good hand rake.
Yeah.
I like a good hand rake.
So spinning is like machine.
Yeah, like
you're going in with a machine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, hand raking is kind of nice. Any raking most of the time is nice.
So I've done a players championship a bunch of times, like volunteering and stuff. So like I have my guys do what I call the sawgrass method, because you rake bunkers down there. Like, it's your first couple of years volunteering. Oh, you're getting a bunker rake, 100%, 100%. And you're in teams of 5-6 guys. They'll all walk a straight line, and the bunker's done in one swipe.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a bunch of rakes all lined up together, and you all just walk one direction, and just a simple leaf rake. You hold it behind you and walk. Try to walk a straight line though.
Yeah, yeah.
But just a nice good hand rake, man. Nice fluffy lie out of there, no fried egg.
Yep.
You got a collab. You collab with fried egg? Have you talked to them?
I have not. No, I know I've met Andy a couple times. I actually got to play with him.
You got.
He's a little bigger than I am. He's doing all right.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
What? Just so people who are interested in Green Harbor, I find it to be, you kind of mentioned like a little bit of community. They do a lot of things to bring people in kind of throughout the year. If I live in that area or if I'm going down and I like interested in playing Green Harbor, is there like another golf course, a 36 hole day that or places that you like to play down in that area as well?
All right, so if we get some good weather in the next couple of weeks, right? No snow this weekend, hopefully.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Could come to Green Harbor. We got the range and the restaurant open. Course should be open, hopefully. Come play Green Harbor. We got 18. We're open throughout the winter. No temporary greens. We're in fairly good shape. I mean, I'm not tooting my own horn or anything, but I've all day. Hey, Mike, Mikey, place looks great. All right, well, no, play Harbor and then North Hill over in Duxbury. They stay open.
Yeah,
that's a quick
that's
9.
a good call.
Yep.
Two different golf courses too. Duxbury. That's a
sure.
a good hilly tough
hill
golf course. Green Harbor is.
We don't
It's a nice easy walk.
There's one hill on the course and it's the 5th hole. Other than that, we don't got any hills going on. Yeah, you remember the little par 3 by the cemetery?
Yeah. For me, I liked that, like 2, 3, 4, 5 is a good little stretch at Green Harbor. I think probably the best of the of the holes for sure.
We'll get there soon and see,
I know. It's funny. I'm doing this thing right now where I'm going back through and posting pictures from every course I've played so far and finding pictures from that first day. And man, some of the pictures from those first rounds, I'm like, I gotta go. Some of these places I do have to go back to and give them a fair shake. Not with my iPhone. Get some video. Yeah. I always ask my guests, and maybe this gets us into some talking just about mass golf courses. You got 5 rounds of golf to play in the state. This is it for you.
I knew this was.
You can do it. You can play 5 different golf courses. You could play one place 5 times if you just absolutely love it.
I got 5.
I always love hearing. You've got your 5?
I got my 5.
All right. So give them to me. We'll kind of talk about them or even talk about some other maybe ones you left off or that you wish you could have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 as well.
In no particular order. If I'm never a stick again in this state.
That's it.
Old Sandwich, Eastward Ho, Myopia Hunt.
Yep.
The Country Club.
Okay.
And I've been so torn for the 5th one, man. So torn. Concord or Worcester?
Oh, man. Okay. Those are 2 of my favorites.
I want to say Concord because to give you more history on my boss and like my boss's family, Manny Francis, the original Manny Francis, like had a lot to do with like the construction and stuff at Concord.
Oh, really?
Back up to Concord and just to see that place because he had something to do with like, a lot of the heavy work there. So that would be nice.
Yeah, Concord is that was my high school team's golf course. It was, and I get to go. It's awesome.
I hate all of those places to be like super private too. You know what I'm saying? Like I would love like a Taconic or something to be on there, but
yeah. Well, you definitely did piss off the Western Mass folks who are listening because they love to get my ass about anytime they're left off a list. They get
dude, like Worcester. I couldn't name a course, dude. I don't think.
Like out in that area.
How far west is Great Horse?
Great Horse is pretty far west. Yeah, it's not all the way west, but it's pretty. I think it would consider itself Western Mass.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, that place, man. Since it used to be what's it, Hamden?
It was Hamden. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, insane.
I know.
That's the perfect example of dude money, and there's just different levels to golf courses.
Yeah, like that's a great point.
There's just way different levels.
Yeah, and they just dialed it up. Like they hired Brian Silva and gave him some money, and I had never played it before. It was Great Horse. Yeah, just all money, and kind of created like it's a cool place to go and hang out too.
Oh man,
my wife.
I've seen some wedding pictures there. Like I got a friend on Facebook who like had a wedding there or whatever. What a venue!
Yeah, it's a great setting.
Oh yeah.
So have you played Worcester?
I have.
Country Club.
Yeah. Well, I've been on the grounds. I've walked it. I've walked it enough though, where like I know what I would do if I'm playing.
Yeah, it's a good spot. What is your handicap?
I'm not holding right now. I didn't hold last season. I'm staying around a 10 to 12.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to hold this season though, and actively post.
Yeah. Were you just not playing enough, or just like not not playing in.
I didn't really, you know what I mean? I just didn't need a handicap. I was kind of just, I didn't play in anything that like needed me to have one.
Yeah.
That'll change this coming up season. I'm like back active in all the chapters again, like the New England superintendents and Cape Cod superintendents and all that. So I'll be trying to play in some chapter tournaments and stuff like that.
Okay, tell me more about that. So there's a
So
little league among the supers,
I wouldn't say a league.
or
There's a national organization called GCSAA, that's Golf Course Superintendents Association of America, and
yeah,
then regional chapters. You know, like there's GCSA NE, so New
yep,
England. There's GCSA CC Cape Cod and Islands, and then you know, so on and so forth. Like Carolinas, you know, North Carolina, South
yeah,
Carolina. It's just, you know, if you're in the turf industry or whatever sports turf, you just kind of join these things to a lot of it too is education. Like if you're a licensed pesticide applicator in the state of Massachusetts, you have a lot of like CWE and points you need to do and like continuing education to maintain your licenses.
right. And then so you guys get together and play golf
Oh yeah.
as well, competitively a little bit. I mean, you're
Uh,
talking about keeping, or at least you need a handicap to.
some of them, some of the
Yeah.
tournaments, not holding a handicap, you can't play, but you know, that's why I didn't play
Oh,
in some.
that's cool. Yeah.
But I'd like to start getting in more involved in that stuff this coming up season.
Is that a way to get onto some good golf courses too? Do they?
Like, do you follow Ryan Boudreau on here at all? The super at Fram
No.
Country Club. Okay, yeah, like he does a lot. He's kind of one of the boardsmen for GCSA and we've kind of been, you know, buddies on here for a while. And he hosted one for assistants and equipment managers, mechanics.
Yeah.
So it gets you out in some spots that you wouldn't get to, and so on and so forth.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's always I mean, that's the bummer
It's just
about private versus public golf, but there's ways to play some of these golf courses for when the members are kind, or they just open their doors for stuff like that's great. I didn't know you guys had your own little cloak and dagger golf
the
stuff
fraternity
going on. That's amazing.
but it's just, you know, you stay involved in your industry, and especially the turf industry too. Like, you know, this page is like Turf Today and, you know, Turf
Yep.
Nation, stuff like that are really showing. But like, do you follow Turf Nation on here?
No, I follow Turf Today.
Yep.
You mentioned that one.
Well,
Yeah.
follow Turf Nation. Well, it's one of the superintendents at Aronimink down in Pennsylvania.
Got it.
A lot of behind the scenes that you follow Aronimink, man. Aronimink is doing golf.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about not to rear off track here, but talk about Pennsylvania. That's a mecca for golf, and people don't
Yeah.
realize.
Yeah,
Oof,
it's great.
man.
Especially, I mean, more private than I don't know what the public scene is like, but the private scene in like the
very nice as well.
it is.
Yeah, they do like 10 or 12 on the top 100 list, like just in that. Insane.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's so funny. You get architects from the golden age who just kind of were in that area. Same with here. Like you got Donald Ross just building golf courses, and
back in that time, Philadelphia used to be called the School of Architecture.
Yeah.
Seriously, it was the Philadelphia School of Golf Architecture. It was like the Ross was in, like
Walter Travis, right? Walter Travis who's a Milton guy. I didn't know Walter Travis is actually grew up in Milton.
Oh.
Learned that this winter in a deep dive. So as far as places you play, where do you like to play you mentioned North Hill. I'm sure you might try to tee it up at Green Harbor, but no one likes to, you know, play where they work. What other spots do you like to go play?
Not to shout out all my buddies, but I go all down in Sandwich, all Harney and Falmouth. I like Southers Marsh a lot.
That place is great. Like another great like family community kind of place.
Yep. I like Crosswinds a lot. That me and the superintendent Al, we follow each other on here, and you know, everybody's kind of in cahoots. I like Pine Hills. I kind of stick to my area, you know, Situate. There's somewhat of a new superintendent over there, and a couple new pros and stuff. So Widows Walk is on the up and up as of the past few years. So it's cool to see. But yeah, to answer your question, Widows Walk, North Hill. You know, when I venture down to Plymouth, you know, Southers Marsh. I don't mind Village Links and Squirrel Run, dude, honestly. I like like that too. Those give me
There's
like good memories, quick little loops, and
there's a place for that. I think I guess this could be the last thing we hit on, but you talked about you talked about your journey in getting into golf. You were hitting balls in the front yard. You kind of went to a driving range. You kind of like built up this experience. Now with the game exploding after COVID, it feels like a lot of people are just like are jumping straight to the first tee of an 18-hole golf course, and like little experiences like a pitch and putt or a 9-hole golf course or like an executive course.
for sure.
I wish there were more like 12-hole golf courses. That would be if I was building a golf course, I'd build 12 holes. We're gonna
Another place I like, not because I work there. Places like Harmon, they got a 9-hole loop, and they got the practice facility, the little short course, and all that.
Yeah,
that's pretty nice when you can get that stuff involved in the public sector of the game too.
yeah. Like I grew up going to a driving range in Littleton called Kimball Farms. It's a driving range. It was a pitch and putt, and like my mom would give me $20, and she'd say, "I'll see you at the end of the day." And I'd go, and it lasted me the whole day. I could play, but that's how I learned how to play. And then you kind of find other people, and you get into it, and it does feel like sometimes, like I don't know if it's we want to shrink the game, that's that call to arms, but it would be. It does sometimes feel like, and you probably see it, just people who are jumping straight to the first tee.
Yep. We want to grow the game properly. You need to prep before you hit a course. And then honestly too, like somebody touched on it on your pod the other day. Play from your tees. And I know it might be weird because your boys are playing from the blues and you're playing from the whites because you stink. White for right now. And then, hey, maybe next month go back to the blues with your boys. Who knows?
Yeah.
But if you play from the tips and you can't really play from the tips, pull yourself up, you're going to get frustrated. Play from the according tees.
Yeah, you'll have way more fun.
The game, you're still knocking the ball in the cup. You started a little bit sooner.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Exactly. You just had a head start. Sometimes that's okay. Yeah, right? For sure. It's and most people who complain to me about golf courses, it's conditions, but then very close afterwards or sometimes before it is just like pace of play at a golf course, and rounds just feel like they're getting longer and longer.
We'll end on 3 things. All right.
Okay.
So from a superintendent, right? This is coming. Please fix your ball marks.
We're supposed to do that?
People really don't understand. On average, a public golf course will get 96 ball marks not fixed every single day. That's 96 of these that possibly will die because it didn't get fixed.
Yeah, it's like 5 a hole.
That's on average.
5 a green, yeah.
USGA stat. That's not just Mike Bird telling you.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
So fix your ball marks, fix your divots. It really does help. I'm telling you, that little bit of effort, it shows respect. You'll feel better. You'll feel a little bit better. I'm telling you. Good vibes reciprocate. So it might help your game a little bit. Might not roll into a divot on your fairway. You land in the fairway and you land in a divot because you didn't fix it.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, come to the course, have respect for the course, have respect for the people who work there, and it'll respect you back.
Yeah.
That's 2. And 3, I'm not a shrink the game guy. I know, some of the people on here, they thought I was for a little bit. Let's grow it properly. Let's, the movement's crazy. I mean, you see,
awesome.
The industry is booming right now. Let's keep it that way, and let's just grow the game right. Let's respect it as a sport. Respect the course, and that's it. Just go out there and have fun. But it's a gentleman's sport, and at the end of the day, we all want to have fun with it. But let's do it the right way.
How many rounds does Green Harbor get a year?
We're pushing into the mid-50s. Yeah, we're jumping.
Yeah.
But you should see my parking lot on a nice July night in the summer. To the street, to Webster Street.
Yeah.
I mean, I got guys this past summer anyway. I'll tell you quick little stories. Coming back at like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night just to check numbers, check greens, whatever. If, hey, this one's a little drier, crank up the time on this one. This, checking hotspots.
Yeah.
There's people still out there. You can't see. I'm about to tell you the heads are about to pop on because they're just so you
Yeah.
don't. And I hit you with.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got our there at the harbor, but come on by. We'd be glad to have you anytime.
Yeah. Yeah. If you see Mike, say hi to him. And
Yep.
Mike, thanks for
Yeah,
hanging out on a chilly night.
Oh, I got to give the dog a shout out. Piglets.
Yep. Yep. I will tag Piglet in the show notes for sure. Piglet's Instagram. All right, Mike. Thanks for hanging out, and we will hopefully see you this spring when the weather gets a little warmer, maybe like 20, 30 degrees.
For sure. I'll be jump on any other time you need. So
awesome. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, have a good night.
You too.